Jam Packaging King. The Caesar on the court to get another ring. Everybody in the chat now sing. Oh yeah! Shut your ass up,
Daddy's always halfway there.
Welcome back to Still Bottom, the best Celtics podcast here on Al Gore's internet. I am Sam Jam.
This is my internet.
What have you done to claim the internet?
I just did.
Yeah, but back up your claim. Defend your claim to the throne.
Why
This
is it Al Gore's internet?
He invented it.
Yeah, well, I mastered it.
I just don't believe that's true.
That's
Sure,
like,
you're.
who
Sure,
was
you're
the first guy who did the Euro step?
Hugo Gonzalez.
We got to rename it after Ugo.
The Ugo step.
The Ugo step.
I am Sam Jam Packard. That is Jay King from The Athletic. We are one day away from Celtics Media Day, but that is not the news necessarily. The news is that Saturday night, Jayson Tatum, Brad Hampton, and the crew drop a vlog, and Jayson Tatum's on the court. I thought on the court he would be doing pump fakes. I thought he would be doing some light dribbling, maybe some passing. The man's full on jogging. The man's doing footwork stuff. It was... I don't know. He's just
What did you really expect?
I didn't expect any sort of on-court video whatsoever. And so to get it this early, the man's just inviting rampant speculation. Wild speculation is what Jayson Tatum wants us to do about when he's coming back. Like, I can't see it the other way.
I think he wants to wildly speculate. I think he wants to play opening night. He's ready. But seriously, he's going to work to get back as quickly as he can. He's already said he wants to basically give himself a carrot to chase after, that, he wants to play this season. And he was moving well. I mean, it was very quick footage. Like, they showed little dribble move that he did. They showed him shuffling backwards in a drill. They showed him running up and down the court. And that's about all we saw, and shooting a couple of jumpers. But still, at this point, that's promising. Everything that we have so far has been promising about Jayson Tatum's injury and rehab from the day that he got surgery, which was immediately, the day after it happened, to the diligence that he's shown throughout the rehab process, according to everyone close to Tatum, including Brad Stevens. And now, 4.5 months after surgery, you get this footage of him moving pretty well. And I don't know how uncommon it is to be moving that well after Achilles surgery. DeJounte Murray recently released a video of him going up and throwing down easily at 6 months out from his injury. So I don't know how rare it is for Tatum to be moving this well, but every little nugget we've gotten so far has been that this has been a pretty smooth recovery so far.
And it's just Tatum is the one putting it out here. Like, this is not the Celtics. The Celtics, I think, reposted it.
I think he's trying to sell shoes, to be fair.
Yeah, and he's doing a damn
There
good
was
job.
A lot of Tatum 4 talk in that video.
Oh, see, I didn't watch the full vlog. I feel it was. Are you saying this was just an advertisement for basketball shoes? Are you saying it was nefarious capitalist incentives here for Jayson Tatum to release this video?
I'm saying that, if he wasn't on the court and if he wasn't moving like that, they probably wouldn't have incorporated that in the sneaker push. But because he is moving well, that was incorporated, and will probably help him sell some shoes.
Do you know who's been in charge of his rehab? If it's his own doctors, or if it's Celtics doctors, or it's a combination of the two? Who gets to make the decision? This guy's ready for basketball, or this guy's ready to play 5-on-5.
So that was, I would say, the one red flag from the Bill Chisholm press conference the other day. And I'm going to pull up the quote right now because I don't want to butcher it. And Brad Stevens was talking about Tatum's recovery, and he said basically that they're going to have a lot of voices in the room discussing when Tatum comes back, but that he will be the biggest decision maker in that.
Tatum?
Jayson Tatum will be the biggest decision maker.
That's not good.
No, that is not the message you should be sending. You should be telling Jayson Tatum, absolutely not. You are not the final decision maker. You can give input. You can feel 100%. We hope to hear from you. But also, we are going to keep you from yourself, and we are going to talk to every doctor. We're going to, cross every T, dot every I, and make sure that you are absolutely 100% before coming back. And I know they intend to be smart about it. And Tatum has said, even Tatum, that he wants to be 100% and fully healthy, and that's the most important thing. But I think even from the top down, Brad should be telling anybody who listens, it's not your call. It's not Tatum's call. It's not Nick Sang's call. It's going to be the doctors at the end of the day, and safety and precaution over all else. So that was the only red flag from the press conference the other day. And I don't anticipate it becoming a big deal. I think everyone's on the same page. He needs to be 100% healthy when he comes back. But that is not the message I would be sending as the Celtics organization. I would be telling him flat out, like, this is going to be a long, drawn-out process, and you will not come anywhere close to that lineup until you are fully healthy.
Yeah, he needs it to pass the test of 5 different doctors, and then he'll be able to say, or he'll say, I'm feeling good enough, and then 5 doctors need to weigh in and be like, yeah, he's hit these physical goals. Because if it's up to Jayson Tatum's going to want to play. He's going to want to play as soon as possible. And so that's just not how you necessarily handle an injury here. I think the question is, we have no idea when he's going to come back, but it feels like him coming back next season is a possibility where after he first got injured, it's like, no, he's out for the entire time. At any point, does his return impact?
Who was this person ruling him out for the entire season after he got
the zeitgeist, the common sense? People just said that's what it's going to happen. All of next year is done. Keep him out. Most people said that.
I mean, 9 months is March. Or
is that the normal? I feel like when you tear an Achilles, you're normally just out for the whole next season. I feel like that's just how it works. That was my assumption.
It hasn't entirely been the case in the past, but you can hold on to that.
Nonetheless, say Tatum. I'm just curious, how do you think Tatum's return, does it change the Celtics' approach to roster building towards this season? Assuming everyone is healthy, does it change their approach at the trade deadline?
It shouldn't. It shouldn't at all, because realistically, even if he comes back in February, let's say
he comes back at the trade deadline.
So February.
Trade deadline.
February.
Yeah.
Let's say he comes back in February. You cannot expect him to be ready to contribute to a long playoff push or to lead a long playoff push, because that's what you would need him to do if you're going to compete for a title. And so realistically, unless he has literally the greatest Achilles recovery ever recorded and comes back and is ready to go 100% by playoff time, then it should not impact your plans at all. You should do exactly what you intended to do before. You should, if you're considering trading Anthony Simons and trying to shed more salary, maybe even get under the luxury tax entirely, you have to still do that. You cannot.
I think that's the big question. Is what if you have a Simons deal at the deadline, but he's actually been kind of good for you, and there's a decision between keep a competitive team because you think Tatum's going to come back and you'll go catch a little motion in the playoffs, or it's we can get under the tax and trade Simons, and then we're punting this season, and whatever Tatum gives you is gravy.
Yeah, you make whatever choice you would have made otherwise. Jayson Tatum, to me at least, and they'll know more than I do. They'll know what his body is looking like. They'll know what the odds are. Maybe not the exact odds, but they'll know what some sort of likelihood that he comes back and is at or near full strength sometime this season, which I think is an extreme long shot. More realistically, he's going to come back, have a lot of rust, be on a strict minutes restriction, and struggle with his movement to some extent at least. And you should not base any near-term decisions on Jayson, the likelihood that Jayson Tatum comes back 100%. Even if he does come back 100%, are you going to be good enough to win a title this year? You have lost Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, which is real now, as we've known for months now. But he's going to the Warriors. It is the most shocking signing of all time. But you've lost those guys. You've lost Luke Cornett. You're down so much. And
you're sounding like a guy who doesn't believe in Luka Garza, a guy who doesn't believe in Neemias Queta.
You're not somebody who's just trying to stress that the likelihood of competing for a championship this season, with or without Jayson Tatum coming back, is extremely low, probably nil.
Yes, even if he was fully healthy this year, if it was just the same exact roster, they'd still have major defensive issues and major just issues at center. I know it's going to be fascinating to see what his timeline is. Like, he's going to be pushing to come back. How often are we going to get a vlog of like him on the court? Because just like the reaction as soon as this video came out is just like, oh my God, he's going to be back by Christmas. And I think that might be a little bit outrageous, but like, it just adds a new dynamic to the season of like, you have to plan for Tatum's return. Are you like hoping that Tatum's return gives you a boost so you can, and how much value? I feel like the mentality is, the way you describe it is like, oh, you're not going to compete for a championship, so you got to do like the kind of long-term moves. But we've also talked on this.
Look, if
there's value in like a playoff run.
Anthony Simons comes back or plays for the Celtics, and he plays the best defense of his life, and you think he's a long-term piece, and you want to keep him because of that, and you don't care what it will do to your salary cap sheet moving forward, and you think that he can be part of this, keep him. I'm not saying like just punt on the season no matter what. I'm saying don't do anything short-sighted. Don't do anything to.
Yeah, you're not doing a rental to try to make a push.
You're not trying to maximize this year. It's more about what makes sense from a longer-term perspective.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's just you don't know when Tatum's going to come back, and maybe they're just like holding on and trying to do stuff. And we don't even know how good he's going to be. Do you think there's any chance he comes off the bench, or he immediately starts if Jayson Tatum returns? He did promise what was that, like 2 years ago, that he was going to come off the bench once, and then he just never did it?
He did promise he was going to come off the bench. That never materialized. Instead, it was Al Horford coming off the bench every time all those guys were healthy. No,
he doesn't want to be a six man like Malcolm Brogdon. They'll refuse to start him.
They might
be a year, Jayson Tatum.
I mean, it's not. It wouldn't be insane to bring him off the bench if he's on a minutes restriction, but those are decisions for another day. Right now, it's a promising day because Jayson Tatum is moving. Jayson Tatum is on the court. Jayson Tatum is feeling much better about where his body is, and it's 4.5 months out. And Kevin Durant is tweeting insane because he was impressed by the footage of Jayson Tatum's workout.
I'm just going to say I'm a huge believer now in the immediate Achilles surgery. You got to have it within the first 12 hours. Every arena should have an in-house surgeon.
An in-house Achilles surgeon?
Yeah.
Just everywhere?
I mean, if it's going to get results
just
like
employ
this.
them?
Yeah. I mean, but like, here's the thing. It happened in New York. They were able to get to a New York hospital. If you have an in-house surgeon, do you do Achilles surgery on a road guy who tears his Achilles in your stadium? You could charge whatever you wanted that. That's price gouging galore.
I would guess the answer is yes.
Yeah, the whole Hippocratic oath, do no harm thing. If okay.
I don't think the whole competition thing extends once a guy gets injured. Like when Halliburton got injured, the Celtics immediately reached out to the Pacers front office and said, if there's anything we can do to help out with this, we've learned a lot through the process because of everything, all the information they had to arm themselves with after Tatum's injury. And I mean, I think it's kind of a gentleman's league once you have something like that.
They didn't reach out within the first hour to say get surgery in the next 11
He
hours.
actually had surgery very quickly the next day, so it might have been from their advice. I don't know if it was. And he also went to the same surgeon that Tatum had.
Did he get hurt himself in New York as well?
No, he was in Oklahoma City and must have
Yeah.
flown to New York or flew the
No, but the
surgeon in. I don't
flying
know
losing
how that went.
everything. Going up in the altitude, it ruins the whole Achilles. They took
Then maybe they
Achilles
flew the surgeon in. I don't know.
That's why you got to have one in house. You can't just be waiting for it to fly him in. Do you have any reaction to Al Horford going to the Warriors? Like, we've known this is going to happen for 2 months. Now he's tweeted about it.
He's tweeted about it. I don't have any real reaction that I haven't shared. It is a bummer for the Celtics. Obviously, the on-court stuff is important, and they're going to miss his ability to knock down threes. They're going to miss his ability to defend fives, to defend fours, to defend, in pick and rolls, to handle the Giannis's and Joel Embiid's of the world by himself in single coverage, giving you and your defense an opportunity to do a lot of different things. They're going to miss all that. I think the biggest impact it will have is the culture piece. Al Horford was somebody who came in every day, was as competitive as anybody. He, like, player after player said that they picked up from Al the right habits to use in their approach. That with 5 kids, he was still, finding the time to work out and had to be super efficient, and just was like the way that he approached keeping his body right and staying in shape and working on aspects of his game. Like, it was an example for everybody. And also on top of that, the unselfishness he played with and the unselfishness that he brought. He's never been a stats guy. One of the coolest Al Horford stats, and I don't have it up right in front of me, but if you look at his defensive rebound numbers, you would think he's not a very good rebounder, but I'm pulling up the stat right now. But in almost every season of his career, the Celtics were a better defensive rebounding team with him on the court.
That just means he's boxing the guy out so other guys can get rebounds.
Exactly. He's an unselfish player. Okay. So rebounding was better. Yeah. It was better in each of his last 4 years. Celtics were much better defensive rebounding with him on the court. There was 1 year in 2018-19 when they were not better. And it's like, you look at the sheer numbers, you don't think he's a great rebounder, but year after year his team does it because he's boxing out his guy, or he's being solid in defense and allowing his team to get rebounds. That's the type of player Al Horford was. That's the type of person he was. And that mentality bleeds down. I think that matters to Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown when they were young. How much did they gain from watching Al Horford every day, from listening to Al Horford, from just seeing the way he approached things? I think that's invaluable, and that will be missed. And it's on the other guys now who are still there to carry that forward. And
are Tatum and Brown now the vets? Like, what other like veteran presence do they have on the team?
I would put Pritchard up there as one of their, leaders by example.
Do they have anyone over
Derek
30?
Derek White very much
White's
has
the
a
oldest.
similar mentality to Al in, like, nothing matters but helping winning. Yeah, they've lost a lot in that front with Al going out, but also Drew's another guy who did a lot of the similar stuff the last couple of years for them. So it's going to be interesting to see how they keep that alive. And I think a lot of that goes to Tatum, goes to Brown. And I think that's part of the reason why it's important that Tatum has been so diligent. Brad Stevens brought it up in his press conference. Like, he set an example every single day for everybody in that building. And that's by showing up, that's by rehabbing, and that's by trying to speed up the process of this recovery, but also get back as close to full strength as possible as he can.
Do you think Tatum's going to travel with the team? Like, is he going to still be like mentoring the young guys on the road? I guess probably not every trip, but you would imagine.
No, I think the plan is for him to do that. You clearly didn't listen to me and B-Rob podcasting last week.
No, I like to have fresh takes. I don't want to listen to you guys. I don't want to steal your thunder and just repeat back to you what you guys are saying to me, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you would never be as right with your takes as I am. But yeah, I believe the plan is for him to be around, and I think that's really important for the next generation, the next crop of guys to see that, whether it's Simons, Garza, Josh Minot, the younger guys who have been around it for a little while but haven't been fully immersed into it or haven't had the pressure of needing to play in a lot of games. I think seeing him there and seeing the way he approaches things is really important.
All right, tomorrow is Celtics Media Day. It's back. Media Day is here. It means training camp starts on Tuesday. We're going to do a quick little potable six-pack. We're draft the six. And if you guys, longtime listeners of the show, of me and Jay, know that there are no real rules to the potable six-pack. It's just the 6 things that are the most interesting about Media Day. And so this is an anticipatory one. So, Jay, it's the 6 things that you think most interesting heading into tomorrow. Do you want the first pick or do you want second and third?
I'll go second and third, baby.
All right. That means I have the first pick, and my first pick is going to be, what the hell is Anthony Simons' mentality like? I have no sense of what his personality is, and I think he has this is such a prove it year for him of I feel like there's been a lot of talk when he has no trade value. He's probably going to want to make a lot of money. We've talked a lot about his defensive struggles. He's kind of has to come in here. One, I think there's a question of whether or not he's a starter. He's been the starter in Portland for the past 3 years. He started every game, but it's just what is his approach and mentality? And even if he speaks all in cliches, I was imagine most of these guys are going to do at Media Day. There is some way we can tell it's his real first impression with the media. And so I'm just fascinated by that, whatever that 6 minutes of Anthony Simons press conference is going to be like.
You are looking forward to the Anthony Simons sound bites. Can't wait for those Anthony
I'm excited to hear your impression of Anthony Simons tomorrow. I'll listen to you and B-Rob talk about that tomorrow.
But you're right. It is a prove it year for him. And what's cool about it is a lot of guys see a prove it year as I need to produce stats. I need to score more. That's not it for him. It's, can you defend? Can you impact winning?
But does he bring that up, though? Does he bring up, I know I need to get better on the defensive end, and, that's something I'm focusing on? Because,
what if he goes full D-Lo and says he wants to do everything Derek White does? Would that excite you?
That would very much excite me, but I haven't, I don't think D'Lo followed up. That was a lot of talk, not a lot of actions. But that would be a great start for me to get locked in. It's I would like a bold Jaylen Brown style prediction of I want to make defensive player. I want to be all defense. Now that would be that would have me really jacked up about Anthony Simons.
That would be quite a turnaround if he does. Quite a turnaround.
You got to have a growth mindset. You got to see it to believe it.
Kaizen.
All right, your picks.
I think just the tone that Joe Mazzulla sets. Last year, they were trying to repeat as champions, and that's a totally different challenge than bringing in some new guys, having a totally raw front court, losing as much as they've lost. I want to see the tone Joe sets, and Brad has kind of started to set that tone, saying that he thinks they're going to embrace being the underdogs and having chip on their shoulder, all that. But what type of tone does Joe Mazzulla set on day 1 and day 2 and day 3? Is he defiant? Because I think he very well could be. I kind of think
Mazzulla defiant.
I kind of think that he'll to some extent, being counted out and having lower expectations and being able to fight against that. I think he likes having things to fight against, and sometimes he makes them up. And he doesn't need to make them up right now. They are very much, I don't know if counted out is the right word, but but people
Doubted.
are doubting what they can do, and I think Joe will kind of, in some ways, relish that.
It's I think the big question of like Joe, since he's like come on, has been like he's been the lightning rod. He's been the big personality of like the at least interacting with you guys in the media. Like he, because like a lot of the other players don't have the biggest personalities. There's no Evan Turners on this team, and I think his and oftentimes, and at least this happens a lot with Jayson Tatum, is like you'll hear Jayson Tatum just like repeating the same phrases that Joe Mazzulla has said, and there's like clearly like you can glean some of the points of emphasis. I'm very interested to see what the point of emphasis is for this season, because last year during media day it was like we got to put that behind us. It's even harder to repeat as champions. It's kind of like a mixed message. Like we gotta. It's going to be even harder this year, but we also have to forget what we did last year because we haven't done anything. But remember what we did last year is going to be harder than that. It was kind of some mental jujitsu Joe was playing. So I'm curious, like, what are the three themes that he's going to be like? He's going to have the point of emphasis he's going to have when he heads into this training camp, and how he's going to come out fighting. We know he's going to come out fighting, but we just don't know what types of punches he's going to throw, at least at you guys yet.
Physical?
Maybe that's one way. That's one way to change the narrative.
And then I think just one of the things that I'm interested in, maybe I should save this for a later pick, but just kind of the fringe rotation guys, which one starts to make an impact early, which one gets some training camp buzz. And I would include like Luka Garza in that. I think Nemi is probably set up to be the starting center, but he was fourth string last year, so he's probably included in that. But Josh Minot, Baylor Shireman, Jordan Walsh, who kind of claims those roles for this team, because I think they're kind of open. I think there are some minutes to be had there, and I am curious to see who wins those battles, because there's a lot more openings than there were, this time a year ago.
The thing I'm looking forward to the most on media day is which player is in the best shape of his life. Do we have any players who have added 15 pounds? Maybe any players who have lost 15 pounds? Which player is going to come in and say they've had the best offseason they've ever had? Like, has anyone become vegan or vegetarian? Because this is like usually the go-to media day story is, I think it's Nemias Queta is going to be best shape of his life. But who do you think of the current Celtics roster is going to claim best shape of their life?
Jaylen Brown and Peyton Pritchard. They might be in the best shape of their lives. They seem to be constantly getting in better shape.
I don't see.
I bet Sam Hauser is feeling good too after the stuff he dealt with physically last year. Coming back, got a nice summer to work on everything. A little longer summer than they're used to. Feel like Sam Hauser's going to be feeling good. Luka Garza is just going to be real excited about his opportunity to finally play minutes.
Glasses. Did you see him at the Patriots game today?
I saw the picture, but I didn't notice Luka Garza.
Oh, well.
Or the glasses that he was wearing.
I don't know if this is going to count as my next pick. Did you see the video of Jaylen Brown throwing a football?
Left-handed, yes.
Yeah, that's the next thing I'm looking forward to. Why has he always been a lefty? Is he protecting a right wrist injury? It looked like he didn't catch the ball with his right hand. I got real conspiratorial watching that video. I didn't know Jaylen Brown was a lefty when it came to tossing the pigskin around.
Maybe he just does everything lefty after the whole world shitted on him for not having a left hand once upon a time.
Yeah, I mean, there was a whole clip of him like fumbling the ball last year while dribbling with his left hand. But that's actually my last pick. Is like, I think it's going to be interesting to hear his perspective on like what he sees his role is next season. Is it scoring more? Is it being more of a facilitator, being a playmaker? He's obviously going to talk about the leadership, and the ball's going to be in his hand a lot more. But what is the point of emphasis he's trying to put out into the media about what he's trying to accomplish this season? Because I think the immediate expectation is like, oh, you can go and we need you to score like 28, 29, 30 points a game. But I think there's another world where it's like he needs to become that much more better, like a better playmaker. What does he see himself in? Also, what has he added to this game this summer? Like, I think one of the things I respect the most about Jaylen Brown is that he's gotten consistently better in terms of the Kaizen incremental growth. He's doing this a whole offseason, knowing that Jayson Tatum's at least not going to be there for the start of the season, knowing that the ball is going to be in his hand more. What has he worked on this summer? Like knowing that that's going to be more responsibility. Is it making plays off the read? Is it reading coverages? Is it making the right decisions? Is it just passing after doing some dribbling? Like I'm just curious what he's been working on this summer and what he sees as his like larger goal as kind of being the number one guy on the team for at least the first 3 or 4 months of the season.
I think he's going to have a big passing year coming from Jaylen Brown. That's my take. Last pick.
How do you not have one? You're not writing a story tomorrow? You haven't pre-written your story? You're waiting for some quotes for some guys to put in?
This might not be a media day storyline, but it's a training camp storyline, and it's what will the starting lineup be?
Oh, that's going to be asked on media day.
There's a lot up for grabs right now, or at least it feels like to an outsider that there's a lot up for grabs. After they lost so much in the front court, after they lost Tatum to injury, after they lost Drew Holiday, like, do you start Peyton Pritchard? What do you do at power forward? Is Nemi the starting center, or does Garza have a shot? Is Chris Boucher involved in there somewhere? There's a lot up for grabs. There's a lot up for grabs right now, and the starting lineup is going to be a question for the first time in a couple years.
Are you going to ask Chris Boucher why he shoots like that?
No.
Why not? Like, no. I can't be there. Who's going to ask the dumbest question at media day? You're not going to say any names right now, but I feel like that's the Celtics media has gone soft, not asking dumb shit anymore. Where's the whimsy? Where's the fun? It's all business, like, because people are scared of Joe Mazzulla. No one wants to do dumb shit anymore. That's all I'm saying. No one wants to ask Jay Crowder why he's called Bay Crowder. When's the last time someone's done that, huh?
Back when they let loose cannons come to media day.
They let me come to all subsequent media days. I just got busy with the other stuff. But I don't know. Who's your prediction for best session with the media? Who do you think has the most personality? Because, like, Cornette's not here anymore. There's a real dearth of one-liners, zingers, goofs, bits.
The George Niang trade gutted me. It gutted me.
That was going to be your go-to guy all season. I feel like you and George Niang, you guys were, what, you guys saw each other in an airport or something?
We were on the same flight from Las Vegas to Boston and had a very nice conversation. The scouting report on him is that he's fantastic with the media. Boom. Traded for a two-way contract guy.
So you gotta find a new guy. You gotta start building those relationships tomorrow at the Auerbach Center.
It's training camp for me too, which means I'm in the best shape of my life and I'm ready to attack this season and put together, some of the best stories of my life.
Well, that's what we're looking forward to. If you want to hear all about it, you should follow Jay King, read his stuff on The Athletic. If you want to hear more from me, from Jay King, from B-Rob about media day, about the Celtics training camp, make sure you tune in, subscribe to Still Potable. Very excited for the upcoming Celtics season. Very excited for the third season of Still Potable. We appreciate every guys tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow after media day and a lot more episodes later this week. Thank you guys for watching Still Potable.
Still Potable, Still Potable, Still Potable, Still Potable. Oh, yeah. Slow down from eating and drinking and all that wild stuff.